Mate.
All right, David Littleproud. OK, time to aggravate those pushing for net zero with a four-way emissions blast of CO2 from our feisty panellist. Welcome, Richo, Senator Hollie Hughes and Prue McSween. G'day.
Hi, Smithy. Hi, guys.
Evening, Smithy.
Good evening.
Richo, I knew the National Party couldn't meet for longer than 4 minutes 15 because their tummies get too hungry and they want to get stuck into a steak somewhere, don't they?
Well, they also can't focus for that long either. You know, it's pretty limited time. So the fact that they've gone this long is remarkable. But one wonders how many of them were actually awake at the end. That's what I'd like to know.
Are they going to stand in the way of net zero by 2050, Richo, do you think?
No, not when the crunch comes, because they know it's happening and they know the Liberals are going to do it to them. So in the end, they've got to find a way to say yes.
Prue, has Australia been bullied into this position?
Oh, are you kidding? Of course we have. I mean, that's the hope of the side. Let's hope that their voices are loud and they can save us from this whole sham. It's a bloody con job that the world, you know, the flat earth movers have been taking control of the globe. We have this ridiculous situation where we're being coerced economically, we're being coerced by this mantra that has taken over, that's brainwashed our kids. How are those kids going to feel when they can't fire up their computers and they can't use their mobile phones because there's not going to be any power? Look at what's going on in Europe right now, where there's lining up, there's queues because there's fuel shortages. You have to debate whether you're going to cook a meal or heat your house in England. It's just absurd. And in a way, it's a demonstration of what's coming if we follow this ridiculous coercion that is going on, and the problem is for Morrison, because the public has bought it so much, but don't really understand the implications of what it's going to mean economically, and in their back pockets, tell the guys who've lost their small businesses due to COVID, do they really give a rat's what's going to happen in 2050? They want to be sure they've got the money coming through their doorways, that they've got the power to keep their fridges on. It's just absurd that we are all falling for this crap.
All right, come and tell us what you really feel, Prue. Come on. Hollie, I've been following the polls on all of this for many decades. I sensed a change in feeling amongst Australians after the floods and bushfires about 22 months ago. Is that your reading of it?
Look, and I don't think it's really to do with those old arguments that we used to hear around climate change and the ridiculous notion that we'd have to somehow limit the cattle industry due to emissions from cows. I think the discussion has matured and there's been some evolution in it. And it's because it's actually market driven. And if you look at some of the advances that are being made in technology, and I know you and I have talked about this before, you know, up in the Hunter, we're seeing the development of a lithium-ion battery factory. We're also seeing moves towards hydrogen. I was out at University of Newcastle where they are now literally printing solar panels. It's incredible stuff to see. We don't know where the technology is going to go in the next 25, 30 years, but what we do know is it's increasing at a significant rate now. Now, there's two sides to this. There's the power, like as Prue was saying, that manages to charge your mobile phone and keep your fridge on. But the other thing that I'm particularly interested and concerned about is the affordable, reliable baseload power that we need in our heavy manufacturing and modern manufacturing sectors. When you look at aluminium smelters, they cannot be turned off and turned on. And we've seen in New South Wales, when there was some movement around towards renewables, that Tomago smelter had to come offline for 4 hours to power Sydney. So I don't think we're losing coal anytime soon. And the other side of this, there is in some ways, I find, a slightly racist element. We live in a very lucky country. We live in a first world country that's very developed. Our coal is very good quality. There will be a requirement for a lot of developing countries to rely on our coal for a very long time to come. So I think, you know, we need some intellectual depth when we look at this argument. We need to accept, I just heard Minister Littleproud, coal's going to be around for a while. It ain't getting shut down anytime soon. But there will be things that change. We will see perhaps small modular nuclear. We'll see lithium-ion batteries go into people's homes. We'll see the transport sector potentially move towards more hydrogen-based vehicles, particularly in the heavy vehicle sector. There's already bus companies in the Central Coast and Hunter looking at that.
Okay.
So there is huge advances being made, and people are seeing that, and it is not having economic detriment. In fact, it is actually boosting jobs and production.
Richo, one of yours, Jodie McKay, has pulled the plug today. We've now got no less than five by-elections, which will probably be held on December 4. We might be coming out of the pandemic fast in New South Wales, but the politicians are falling over in droves.
Exactly. I mean, the toll on them is enormous, obviously. It must be a very tough job. But I think when you see the by-elections, at least it gives us a chance to have a sort of mini-election. If you've got five by-elections, it'll give both sides of politics an idea of where they stand. And it's going to be good for people like you and I, Chris, so we can't complain.
Yeah, bring it on. News through earlier today reveals that China has launched a nuclear-capable hypersonic rocket that circled the globe. It happened in August, and US intelligence were taken by surprise. That's about as ominous as it gets, Prue, isn't it?
It sure is. But, this is the country that, is a developing country, isn't it? That's getting all these concessions from the UN, because they're so worried. And I heard a bloke on your radio show on 2GB today saying that poor China's got to bring its, peasants up to middle class and needs, to use the coal and everything. I mean, the one, and yet they're spending billions of dollars on military armour and all this technology to make sure they can attack.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, exactly.
One quick one.
Give us a break.
Give us a break, exactly. It's a con job. You're dead right. One last one, Holly. Here's the sign of a humble champion. Horse trainer Chris Waller wins the world's richest horse race, the Everest, with Nature Strip yesterday. I won something on it. But earlier in the week, Chris gave up his VIP dining table to a group of COVID nurses from Westmead Hospital. Here are pictures of the nurses. How great is that?
And look, I was lucky enough to be at the Everest yesterday, and it was a cracker of a day.
Oh, you hobnob.
So hopefully those nurses... Well, I was looking for you. I didn't see you yesterday.
No. Some of us have to work.
It was... It was an absolutely fantastic event. The fact that we went up to 10,000 people, we had people all over the lawn. All of the racing was fantastic. The weather was beautiful. I hope those nurses had the best day because it was absolutely fantastic. It was so good to see everyone back. It was great to be in an environment, and Sydney's really been this for the past week, the happiness that people are actually just experiencing in being able to re-engage with each other, to be out, to put a frock on, to have the big hat. But what a wonderful, wonderful thing that he did for those nurses. And I hope they had as good a day as I did.
He's a great fella. He's a great fella and a champion trainer at that. And quickly, Richo, did you have anything on Nature Strip?
Not a thing, which is the story of my life, mate. Never, ever seen do I back a winner.
You poor thing.
Eduardo upset my trifecta. So.
Yes, came third. Prue McSween, Senator Hollie Hughes, Richo, have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Smithy.
See you, Smithy.